Shalom, 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 shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone of teaching rule well. Peace and salutation to those like scattered abroad. That's how you're doing this work of truth and sincerity. I'm Brother Bach coming at you with another lesson. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Today I want to go into be circumspect, man. You know, now are the very serious times, man, that we're in. You know, you see the wars that's going on over there in the Middle East. You know, things are being amped up, man. You know, the Lord is shortening the days. You know, we're in these end times, man. So you must be circumspect. This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. It says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." Right, man? You know, we ain't out here, you know, being lackadaisical. You know, out here living our best life. You know, trying to be the best in society. Chase dreams, man. You know, that shit is all over and done with, man. That ship has sailed. You know, we are walking wise, you know, measuring the time diligently in itself, you know, roughly paraphrasing. You know, you like I said, man, you know, you see the war that's going over there in the Middle East. It says because the days are evil. You know, Trump is amping things up, man, left and right. You know, you see the threats that he is making towards Iraq over there, man. You know, it's gonna get worse. It says verse 16, it says redeeming the time because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. And we know what the will of the Lord is. It's to destroy this place, man. To destroy this wicked place called Babylon, man. And kill off the 2/3, man. Scripture say that, you know, the 2/3 shall perish and die. You know, roughly paraphrasing. Because what? The Lord is a man of war. You know, the Lord is coming to destroy this place, man. I'm going to go to the book of Matthew. Matthew chapter 10. This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 16. It says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." You know, hitting these highways and hedges, man. You know, doing these lessons and videos, man. You know, we out here, man. You know, standing bold as a lion for Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. But we're also wise, man. You know, we're not out here claiming to be, you know, the biggest and baddest, man. You know, we speak humbly, man. You know, and we're harmless as doves. You know, we ain't out here trying to fight at camp and pick fights on these Christians, man. You know, because what? We know the truth. You know, we not out here trying to prove a point to anybody, man. We telling the truth. This has come from the Lord's book, man. You know, we are not of our own, man. You know, scriptures say, man, a man's going is of the Lord. You know. Go to the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "To everything there is a season, and a time and a purpose under the heaven. a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck of that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Everything goes hand in hand, man. The Lord is a balance, man. And what I just read, those are balances, and you see right now what time we're in. It's going to be a time of mourning, a lot of mourning, man. You got these people out here in Murph, just living it up. But pretty soon, man, it's going to be a time of mourning, great death and destruction, man. That's what's coming to America. You see the hyperinflation. You see people starting to sit their ass down because they can't afford, to pay for gas, to go around driving around, just having fun. Back in the day, man, you fill your tank full of gas for $20, man, and you ride the whole week. But now that $20, it won't get you down the road, man. Go to the book of 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 14. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 40. It says, "Let all things be done decently and in order," man. It's an order. It's an order when you in camp, a camp or a brother that's over you. It's an order too, man. It's like it is. It's like I got around scripture. This is Proverbs. Like I got around scripture. This is in it's in 2nd Ezra, Salakia. 2nd Ezra chapter 9. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same wherein the highest will begin to visit the earth which he made." Right, man, you see that we're in these end times. You see more people have more videos, of chariots, man, from the Lord. Just like in those old days, man. You see the uproars of the people, having all these protests. And you also see these people still getting married, still living their best lives, But when it comes time, they gonna wish they had been measuring the times, But the Lord, the Lord gonna shut them out, man, for being disobedient and not hearkening unto His word, But that's pretty much all on that. Lord willing, you are edified. Until next video. Shalom.